Hello everyone, especially all of my fellow dual blade users. Today we are going to go over the new best dual blade builds that are made possible thanks to Title Update 2. I will also be breaking down the two new set bonuses and providing multiple builds depending on your preferred playstyle. So no matter your playstyle, this video should have something for everyone. But before we get into the builds, we first have to take a look at the new set bonuses so that you can understand how the builds even work and why I have made them the way that I have. So starting off, we have the Seregios Set Bonus, which is my favorite of the two new set bonuses, and is all about Adrenaline Rush. The great thing about this set bonus is that it extends the duration of Adrenaline Rush from 30 seconds to 45 seconds at level 1, which is very significant. In addition to that, it also allows you to trigger Adrenaline Rush again while it is already active, which will extend the duration by an additional 15 seconds. However, the level 2 benefit of this set bonus is where things start to be not as great. At level 2, you will get a 5% damage increase similar to Lord Soul, but it only activates when you double activate Adrenaline Rush, and only lasts until Adrenaline Rush runs out. This is actually bad because it is very conditional and locks you into using 4 pieces of Seregios gear, which will put you down a path of having bad affinity. For this reason, I don't recommend using the 4 piece because it's just more efficient to use the 2 piece and then pair it alongside something like Black Eclipse, which will fix the aforementioned affinity issues, or even Lord Soul, which will give you that 5% damage increase with a lot more consistency, as well as give you some latent power. As for the laggy Acura set bonus, its description is a bit more vague and the skill itself is a bit more complicated, so I'll show you exactly how it works. But to put it simply, once you equip the skill and attack something a few times, you'll get a little burst of damage along with the notification informing you that the skill has activated. Once the skill is activated, you will get a 15% affinity increase for 20 seconds if you're using Azure Bolt 1, or if you're using Azure Bolt 2, it will last for 30 seconds instead. And if it ended there, this would honestly be a pretty good set bonus. However, there is a very big downside to this skill that is not immediately apparent, or even mentioned in the skill description. I'm referring to the horrendous forced 30-second cooldown in between when the skill wears off and when you are allowed to activate it again. The fact that this cooldown exists makes the overall uptime of this skill significantly lower, which means it can't compete with Gore's 2 set bonus, which is what this has to do in order to be meta. Even if this cooldown didn't exist at all, I think it would still have a tough time competing with Gore, but at least then it wouldn't feel like it's so underwhelming. I hope they completely remove this cooldown at some point in the future, but until then I don't recommend using this set bonus if you're trying to be efficient. Moving on to the actual builds then, first up is going to be a Seregios Gore hybrid and the build I recommend most people use. To make it, you're going to need the Zoshia head, Seregios chest and arms, along with the Gore waist and legs, as well as the counter attack charm 3. As for the decorations, it's going to be 3 challenger jewels, 3 counter jewels, 3 sprinter jewels, 2 sane jewels, and 1 chain jewel. So this is going to be your theoretical maximum damage build for Title Update 2, and it has pretty much every skill you could possibly want. However, it is worth noting that because this set has both Adrenaline Rush and Agitator, that this set requires a very aggressive playstyle in order to play efficiently. So just keep that in mind. It is also worth noting that if you are someone who is generally not a fan of using Counter-Strike on dual blades, then you can swap it out for Evade Window 5 as well. As for the second build, we have a Seregios Raydao hybrid build which focuses on latent power. This is a great build, but is only really ideal for those really long hunts. To make it, you're going to need the Arc-Tempered Raydao head, chest, and waist, along with the Seregios arms and legs, as well as the Counter Charm 3. As for the decorations, it's going to be 3 Sprinter Jewels, 1 Counter Attack Jewel, and 1 Chain Jewel. Now, like the first build, this build is also going to require a very aggressive playstyle and is only really great for those longer hunts against monsters that hit quite hard, because that's where you will get the most value out of latent power. Without latent power, the set significantly falls behind the first build, so just keep that in mind. I'd personally only recommend this against Zoshia, Arc-Tempered Raydao, and maybe some of the other 8-star tempereds if you find those are difficult for you. We of course also have to talk about the weapons themselves, and by now pretty much everyone knows that the best weapon to use is always an Ardian with 4 attack increases and 1 sharpness increase, alongside whatever element the monster is weakest to, which is something I don't even have here. Capcom continues to ensure that Ardian remains meta, and that's not really going to be changing in Title Update 2, and at this rate it probably won't even change in Title Update 3. But if you don't have a perfect Ardian and don't want to waste away your life grinding for one, then your other option is going to be Zoshia's dual blades, as well as the new laggy Acura's dual blades, which are only a bit weaker than a perfect Ardian. Regarding the new Seregios and laggy Acura's weapons that people are curious about, the Seregios dual blades are a bit worse than the Zoshia dual blades due to its horrible sharpness that not even its fancy sharpness skill and insane affinity can make up for, so I don't recommend using it. Taking a look at the laggy Acura's dual blades though, they are actually really good, and in some cases can actually even outperform a perfect Ardian against something that is very weak to Thunder. But it is important to remember that these are Thunder dual blades, so unless you're fighting something that is very weak to Thunder, you're going to be better off just using a mid-tier Ardian with the correct element, or even the Zoshia dual blades if you're fighting something weak to Dragon. If you're curious about the weapon decorations, the only thing that's really different from the standard setup is that you want to use 3 attack boosts instead of 5 critical boosts on the first build if you're using an Ardian weapon, and that's just because it's better with our low affinity. Other than that, you just want to throw in your critical boost alongside your razor sharp and you'll be good to go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and consider checking out this video next.